How's it going, everyone? This is Christian Duke from ProgressiveActivist.com. I'm joined by my good friend Meredith Jones. Meredith, how's it going today?
It is a beautiful day in Kentucky. We've been out canvassing in the streets, talking to real-life people. So it's a great day.
Excellent. Now, we met Lexington Mayor Jim Gray here in Louisville's West End. What was it like meeting him today?
I tell you, I have said over and over again that he is such a down-to-earth man that I'm very grateful. I can tell you I'm a newcomer to Kentucky. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. Used to a small town sort of feel, small town atmosphere. And I've been very impressed that when we were invited to attend a luncheon in Frankfurt recently.
The Progressive Lunch, right?
There he was. He came to answer our questions and sit within reaching distance of the man. And that wasn't a one-time thing. He also showed up today at the church when we met to collect our supplies and head out and canvass the local streets.
Now, we knocked on 40 doors. There were 4 of us. There was yourself, myself, Christy, and Bruce.
Yes.
What was it like knocking on the doors and interacting with those folks and also the folks that we met along the way?
I tell you that it is something you got to just force yourself to do, to walk up and knock on that first door. It was my first experience canvassing, and also Christy, my dear friend here in Kentucky for almost 10 years now. She's gotten involved politically and gotten me involved, so we went out today, joined with Christian and Bruce, and hit the streets. And I tell you, we were nervous, but it was well received. I will say that we did have a specific list of individuals that we were out to meet today. And we sought out those homes and those individuals, but although most of them were not home, we were able to just be out and about in the community and talk to potentially their neighbors that were on the stoop that wanted to interact. And I feel like we really were able to have some wonderful conversations with people today. I found that, I don't know if this is safe to say on here, I'm sure that it is, there's not a whole lot of support for Rand Paul out there.
Nothing wrong with honesty.
No. We found that the people that were home were happy to tell us that they really didn't care for Rand Paul. So that was great news for us in that they didn't like the opponent anyway. But the beauty was to then talk to them about Jim Gray, that it's not just we don't like the other side, but that Jim Gray is an awesome man.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And people were very receptive to that today. And I'm proud that we were able to be a part of this. I think everybody should get involved.
Absolutely.
You can make a change.
Absolutely. GrayForKentucky.com. So, let me ask you about a little unusual event as well in our great day. When Jim Gray arrived, my good friend Kyle West, fellow Bernie Sanders delegate, asked me to stand next to him. I wasn't sure why. It was kind of strange. I noticed that Kyle was very close to Jim, and we were about to walk into the campaign headquarters for the West End. And there were a couple of guys that I noticed that had video cameras and sunglasses on. Actually, at the time, I don't think they had sunglasses on, but had video cameras. And Kyle told me that they were trackers. So I immediately took my camcorder out and started videotaping them. Who were these guys? I mean, what?
This is new to me, this tracking business, but I can tell you that as an observant person, I noticed these two guys, young, not that different looking from me, in sunglasses, a button-up shirt. I thought that maybe they were there to support Jim Gray.
Right.
That was my initial thought. But I kept an eye on them because they were next door. They kept walking by, past, but they were not approaching. But I thought that maybe they just weren't comfortable, hadn't been involved before. It was my first time canvassing. Maybe it was just two young guys that didn't know how to walk up and say, hey, what do we do?
Right.
But as soon as Jim Gray showed up, they made a beeline for him and pulled out video cameras.
Yeah.
I mean, marched straight toward him. And from my perspective, I mean, we're as close to him as my hand is to my face.
Yeah.
And I thought, again, still, this tracking business that people would send someone from the opposing party to videotape you. Again, new to this, it's mind-boggling, but there were some younger guys out there today to apparently do just that. Get in the face and try to catch something.
And we don't know if they work for Rand Paul's campaign, if they work for the Republican Party of Kentucky, if they work for a political action committee, but what we do know is that, first off, they trespassed. I mean, they weren't on the sidewalk. It wasn't a de minimis violation. They weren't maybe a foot or whatever in. They were literally maybe 2 or 3
I thought they
feet.
were going inside with them. I thought
Yeah,
they were there
yeah.
to document the experience.
Absolutely. So they were definitely, at the very least, a civil trespass, if not a criminal trespass. You said they were, what, about a foot, maybe a foot and a half from Jim Gray's face. I know that Kyle West was immediately on Jim Gray's right shoulder, and I was immediately on Kyle West's right shoulder. So, I mean, and, they were that close. And something that I had told you also, if Jim had been in the position of a Bernie Sanders or a Hillary or a Donald Trump, and we had been Secret Service or there had been Secret Service, they would have taken these guys to the ground.
Right.
I mean, that's just way too close.
No, I agree. They ran straight toward him. And again, though, I thought that this was some sort of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I thought these were potential young supporters that were there to catch, Jim Gray making his triumphant march to the front door. But
Right. And then when Kyle told me that they were trackers, I offered them an interview, and they walked away. They actually walked away about 8 blocks, 8
Yeah.
city blocks. I mean, I couldn't get them in my Zoom, and my Zoom goes about 40 times. And then as Jim Gray was leaving, I noticed they were starting to film again, so I took my camcorder out.
Yep.
Then they walked on a side street about, I would say, 6 or 7 blocks, and as Jim was getting into the car, they were approaching. And once Jim left, they texted, and I have that on video. They texted someone,
Yeah.
maybe a car that was following Jim, to let them know where Jim was going or that he was leaving. So I thought that was really bizarre. In any event, I really want to thank you for doing this, and I really like that you're encouraging people to get more involved. It seems like you had a good time canvassing and talking to people.
absolutely. I think that you just got to make that step. Just do it. Go talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, talk about what's important to you. People are receptive. You'd be very surprised. I mean, this is the first time wandering the streets and, a neighborhood I haven't been in and knocking on doors. But you see someone on the street, say hello, you'd be surprised.
Absolutely. And like you told a lot of the folks today, this is a very close election. Clearly someone, if not Rand Paul, the Republican Party, or some PAC, clearly someone is scared, because those 2 kids did not just show up out of nowhere with video cameras. Clearly someone's scared. And like you said, even though a lot of people can't stand Rand Paul, it just so happens that we're also supporting an awesome candidate in Jim Gray.
Correct. Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Meredith.
Thank you.